We'll get into where things were in March and where these pitchers were drafted, but just list off your top 10, then I'll do the same, and then we'll kind of compare where we were in March.
1 to 10 or 10 to 1?
Let's do 10 to 1. Let's give a little suspense, I suppose.
Okay. Well, Joe Ryan's my 10 guy, whip master. I know he's not ridiculous with the strikeouts, but he's always going to have a great whip because he just doesn't walk anybody. I like that Minnesota defense. I don't know who Corbin Burns is. I actually traded for him in the league, despite my friend Frank Schwab, who's a big Brewers fan, saying he's worried about Burns. He hasn't had the wipeout pitches this year, and the strikeout rate is down, but I still have him at number 9. Framber Valdez, I think, a very easy guy to watch. I toyed with having Valdez much higher than 8 on my list, but maybe his back class doesn't merit it. But this year his ratios have gone down. He gets a lot of ground balls. Houston's got good infrastructure. Kevin Gossman hasn't bothered him going to the AL East. He's getting tons of strikeouts. Another guy who gets ground balls by the bucket load. Luis Castillo is just one of those guys. Every time he pitches, I expect 7 innings, 2 runs, 7 or 8 strikeouts. Sometimes he gets a win, sometimes he doesn't. But Luis Castillo has an extremely high floor. I don't know how many starting pitchers we could say that about. Zach Gallen, part of an underrated Arizona team. He's had a rough patch the last couple of starts, but Zach Gallen is the number 1 on any fantasy roster. Shane McClanahan, who may win the AL Cy Young this year. Everything's coming up Rays. He's a guy, again, every time he pitches, you expect a deep start. You expect a lot of strikeouts, a really easy guy on the emotions. Shohei Ohtani, what can't he do? I considered him as high as 2. I have him at 3. I don't think I need to pitch him on Shohei Ohtani. Yep. Garrett Cole has not pitched like he deserves the number 2 slot right now, but just on back class, just on the strikeouts he's going to get and the volume, I did have him at 2. But if somebody said they preferred Luis Castillo to him or Framber Valdez to him or Kevin Gossman to him, you might be right. I mean, you'd have certainly like a 48-52 chance at worst of being right. And Spencer Strider, here's to you, man. I know you only throw 2 pitches. It doesn't matter. You're a strikeout ace. You're on the best team in the National League, maybe the best team in all of baseball. Although I struggled with the overall composition of my top 10 list, Strider was an easy number 1 for me.
Yeah, spoiler alert, Spencer Strider is my number 1 too. But I'm going to start at number 10 here, Framber Valdez. I toyed with putting him higher because I think he deserves it. You know, ratio-wise, ERA, I still think the Astros lineup's going to be better as the season moves along here. I have Corbin Burns at 9, and he was my number 1 at the start of the season. He's been disappointing. No two ways about it. This isn't about bad luck. 3.75 ERA. Strikeouts way down, velocity down a tick, walks way up. So I have to move him down until we see better results. I have Luis Castillo at 8, Zach Allen number 7, Joe Ryan number 6 for me. One hiccup last week against the Astros, but otherwise he's been money, switched up the pitch mix, which you'll love to see, and that correlate to the success that he's having. Kevin Gossman has been awesome with the Blue Jays. Doesn't matter. He's in the AL East, like you said. Somehow only 4 wins, but can't really fault anything he's done so far. Shohei Ohtani at 4. The only negative is that he pitches basically once a week. Makes it a little harder, maybe in like a head-to-head type of league, but the strikeouts there in bucketfuls. Garrett Cole, number 3. I think just by virtue of the AL East, Yankee Stadium, there's going to be some games where he gives up 2 homers, 3 homers. But for the most part, volume-wise, I think he's as good as it gets. Shane McClanahan, number 2, leading the league in wins and has the ERA, the ratios, strikeouts. And yes, Spencer Strider, number 1 for me as well. So he's our guy. I don't think we're going to see maybe the innings counts with Strider as we would with a Cole or a Gossman. But in terms of pure net strikeouts that you get in those innings, it's far and away the best. He's also on arguably one of the best teams in baseball, if not the best. So I'm all in on Strider as well.
Yeah, that strikeout count just jumps off the page. He's already at 113. A lot of guys are in the 60, 70, 80 range.